a thirst for knowledge, a heart for service, and a zest for life. NASA research scientist Dr. Immanuel Barshi is truly a citizen of the world. Born in Israel, Barshi and his siblings were raised to love learning and family. Today, he's a respected expert in the fields of human systems integration, linguistics, and aviation and space operations.
I was a curious kid, but one of those kids for which the school system isn't really designed very well. I was regularly sort of on the verge of being expelled or being on probation or something like this.
Following high school, Barshi served for 6 years in the Israeli military. By the age of 30, he was also a seasoned commercial pilot and flight instructor who had lived in several different countries. When he asked about coming to CMSU, Professor John Horine welcomed the experienced aviator as a freshman student and as a senior flight instructor.
Immanuel knew what he wanted to do. He had a goal in mind, and he knew what he needed to do to get there. He had that maturity, and it was recognized by the faculty and by fellow students.
Horine recognized his new students' advanced capabilities and allowed him to individualize his education, with a lot of help from the late Dusty Rhodes.
So I would come to the registrar's office on a regular basis with the little notes with Dr. Horine's signature approving a substitution for the aviation technology major. Dusty, there were glass windows there in the registrar areas, and he would see me from a distance and would just go, "Not you again." But we became very good friends, and we stayed friends for a long time after that.
Dr. Joyce Stevenson, now director of the UCM International Center, also made a lifelong connection.
He's a true example of what we consider a global student, because not only had he lived in Israel, but he had lived in Ethiopia, in Finland, in Switzerland, and then in the United States.
Barshi came to Central Missouri along with his then-girlfriend, Ursula. While his studies kept him engaged, another important engagement developed.
One very special thing about CMSU for me is that my roommate from my freshman year in college is still my roommate. And so Ursi and I came together to CMSU in August of 1985. Man, that was a long time ago. And we're still together.
Barshi furthered his education at the University of Colorado. His unique combination of education and skills prompted NASA to recruit and hire him to join the Human Factors Division at the NASA Ames facility in California's Silicon Valley.
I work in what's formerly called the Human System Integration Division. And this is probably the world's largest group in a single place that looks at the role of the human in interaction with complex systems, particularly in aviation and in space.
Barshi's research is reshaping the way commercial flight crews interact with air traffic controllers and automated systems. His research is also being used by NASA to modify communication between astronauts and mission control. If you're flying on a Boeing commercial aircraft, Barshi's work on their checklists is ensuring your safety.
So if you ask me what work I do, the usual answer is I try to understand why people make mistakes.
The research work of the Human Systems Integration Division often includes the participation of commercial pilots, air traffic controllers, and major corporations. And Barshi's work has helped produce award-winning results.
And the fact that they've agreed to enter into agreements with us so that they, through Immanuel, provide data that are proprietary, trade secret data. They trust him with that stuff.
For me, it has always been important to do the work that I care about. I think another wonderful thing about this particular place is that I have amazing colleagues.
Now a respected expert in his field, Barshi still reflects on the lessons learned decades ago at the University of Central Missouri.
John Horine was incredibly helpful when I had all kinds of crazy ideas about what classes I should take and what classes I shouldn't take. He would always tell me,
"Don't let your schoolwork get in the way of your education."
And that was very important. It's something that I've been teaching my daughter.
As a man of science, Barshi routinely backs up his findings with data, a fact his daughter Naomi, a recent college graduate, learned firsthand as a child.
So I was driving the carpool one day, and my daughter and a classmate of hers are sitting in the back and talking, and he is very frustrated about an argument he was just having with his father. And then my daughter says, it always ends up with John saying, well, that's your opinion and I have my opinion and we can agree to disagree. So this is really frustrating for you. When I argue with my father, it always ends with him saying, well, I have data.
As much as Barshi relies on data, friends like Joy Stevenson know his heart is just as engaged as his intellect. She enjoys her ongoing friendship with Immanuel and Ursi.
They also have just the warmest souls and the greatest commitment to friendship and to pursuing peace and equality for people all over the world. And I deeply admire both of them for that.
Immanuel Barshi advises today's students to pursue the activities that express their being. Living this philosophy means he's pursuing his passions every day.
The flying, the aviation, the research, the language, the psychology all fits together in this one nice little office that they gave me here, and they actually pay me to do that, and that's amazing.
Dear Immanuel, congratulations on this recognition. I want you to know how much of a pleasure and it has been for me to have you as a dear friend and a colleague. You have done outstanding work, and this recognition from the University of Central Missouri is absolutely right on.
Immanuel, congratulations on the award that you're receiving from the university. We even try to claim some of the credit for it, although we probably don't deserve very much of it.
We're so very proud of you. You are a very deserving recipient this year of the 2012 International Distinguished Alum Award. We are proud to have you representing us every day, and we wish you and Ursula and Naomi the very best, and thank you for all that you do on our behalf.